there are both individual members and organizational members.
Of the proposals. So I would really suggest that the chair would take a procedural decision on how to go on with this article, because it's crucial to the philosophy and the principles of the organization, and it's hard to solve right now. So find a way to postpone the decision in a nice way. We know the principles, and we feel along with the principles, but you cannot resolve it here. That would be the comment.
Right. Well, we have a problem that the original statement will not pass muster. We cannot register the association with that wording, and it seems that the amendment isn't getting a wide support either. So, right, we need to come up with something that we agree on, and that's most likely something that the authorities will also accept. Otherwise, we're not going to found the association today. So here's okay.
Yeah, I think the issue with the authorities is predictability. So if I don't think you can override the requirement, you need to know beforehand from the bylaws how many votes you have in what kind of context. But as a compromise and in order to alleviate concerns about the power of organizations, I would suggest as a pro tem measure to change the number 5 to the number 2, and then come back to this in 1 or 2 years' time, see how the membership, what the composition of the membership will be.
Okay, thank you. So we have a proposal that we would accept the amendment, but instead of organizational members having 5 votes, they would have 2 votes, and then we will return to this, whenever it seems timely.
Organizations can always have individual members.
Yes, organizations can always have individual members. That's very true. Let's see it there.
Is there a possibility to reserve a percentage of the voting power to the board?
No. To the board? No. The board cannot make decisions in the general meeting.
The board is actually part of it.
Right. Okay. Demo.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Yes, my suggestion was also to have this as a possible agenda point in the first general meeting. So in other words, approving this amendment with 2 or 5 or whatever to get the organization started, but we are committed to work on a rewording and basically a change of bylaws in our first general meeting, which would be in 5 weeks.
All right. See, okay, Thomas Zeisinger, you have the floor.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, very good. I would like to make a proposal for these amendments in a way that's basically if you define the election regulation in a way that you say within a meeting you have a kind of factor kind of describing the number of individuals and the number of organizations and correcting the fact that the voting power to reach the 50-50 again. So basically that would kind of leave it open how much every vote is actually counting for a particular voting activity based on the attendance of organizations and individuals in that particular meeting.
All right.
Did I make myself kind of understandable, clear?
If I understood you correctly, that's again exactly what we were proposing originally, which is not legal. Just worded other way.
No. I moved it to election regulations. So basically leaving the text as in the amendment, but basically within the association's voting and election regulations, you are kind of specifying how much actually those votes are kind of multiplied with a certain factor.
So yes, again, that's something that is open for discussion between now and Barcelona, what would be in the election regulations, and definitely the intention would be to strengthen the 50-50 idea there. But as was mentioned, the election regulation cannot overrule the bylaws nor the Finnish law. So if we say that it's 1 to 5 here, and we say that it's 6 to 18 there in the election regulations, that would be still not strong enough. But I do believe that we can work out good election regulations that set up clarity for everybody in this organization that this is how we want to work, that there is this 50-50 thing, and we can actually count these votes in that way if it's approved by everybody in the general meeting. So that's kind of the idea, that we have these internal regulations that give us a little bit more flexibility, even though we cannot overrule completely the bylaws, or we should not try that.
All right. I think Rob has a proposal actually worded. It's essentially the same 1 to 5, but added to, has the sort of the rationale there. So I'll just read it out loud. The amendment proposal from Rob Guinness: recognizing the goal of equal power sharing between individuals and organizations. In the association's meetings, each individual member has 1 vote, organizational member has 5 votes. Should the ratio between individual members and organizational members change, the association will take steps to update this bylaw to reflect the current ratio.
I think that's very good.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. At this point, I'd like to just ask for a show of hands.
Sorry, I don't have access to Zoom, so you need to copy it somewhere where I have access to that.
Oh, okay.
First of all, in Zoom, or
that's a line somewhere. It's not part of this.
That's not. Yeah, that's not there. Okay, so
yes, this is Rob. I tried to add this as a comment to the slide deck, but I was unable. So that's the best place I could figure to.
Thank you.
This.
All right, Teemu.
Yeah, I have a small comment on that. I think that's an absolutely brilliant phrasing in the spirit of what we're aiming at. I just want to highlight to everybody that changing the bylaws does require a 3/4 majority. So if there was to be an evil constituency, it's possible that it will not, even if it says in our bylaws, they would not change the bylaws. Of course, then we would have a kind of a odd situation where we're refusing to go by our own bylaws. But nonetheless, just good to remember that changing the bylaws does require 3/4 majority.
All right. Okay. There's a couple of questions about exact wording, so that can be fine-tuned. Of course, I do remind you that these will be translated into Finnish, so the exact wording is not critical, but it's good to get the basic message there. I don't think we're going to get to a perfect solution, but this perhaps seems to be the closest to a good wording that we've seen and heard so far. So,
can you update the slide?
Yes, but it'll take me a second.
Let me see if I can do it.
Yeah, no, I need to. Yeah. Okay, this is it. All right. Just share that. Where are we? No. Yep, I'm
Updating
trying to
the slide.
reshare the. Okay, so here's the wording from Rob. All right, so let's at this point do indicative voting or polling. So I'd like to ask for a show of hands. So everyone in favor of this amendment rewritten by Rob, please raise your hand now. And also remote coordinators also do take toll of what's happening.
Yes, use the yes button if you're in Zoom.
Yeah, individual participants, please use the yes button and not the hand. So the hand is for, yeah. Sorry, virtual hands are not the same as real hands. Right, okay. And then everybody who is against this or has a problem with this amendment, please raise your hand now. Or use no in Zoom. And then remote coordinators, please, add to Slack the results from your location. All right.
Hey, Antti here. Excuse me for just taking the floor because there's too much hand raising.
Yeah, okay. Yep. Go ahead, Antti.
Question. I noticed that the online vote or hand raising was so unclear that some were saying yes when you asked that now when anybody who's against this may vote, some were putting yes on that and some were putting no, some were raising hands. It was so unclear. I would actually request to do this again with clear instructions for the online, preferably that if you are for this, put yes. If you are against this, put no. And anything else would be discounted.
Yeah, thank you, Antti. Yes, that was the intent. So just to rephrase, so all individual participants online, please press yes or no. Press yes if you are agreeing with this amendment, and press no if you have a problem with this amendment. Currently, Helsinki, Paris, and Stockholm seem to have mostly agreeing on this amendment. The online voting currently shows 25 yes, 4 say no. All right, I'm going to assume that we have a sort of a general agreement where to put this to a vote. This would be carried. There's probably something that we can still fine tune in the wording. I think that's something that we can sort of entrust to the board of this to-be association as they're translating these bylaws to Finnish, to also engage our members on MyData Global Slack to make sure that the wording is satisfactory to everyone. All right. Okay. So of course, at this point, if anyone has a problem with this and requires that we do closed ballot voting, then this is now the point to request that. But yes, comment.
Sami, comment on the phrasing and the association registry in Finland, where we want to be registered. That the wording is very good from Rob, and thank you for thinking it through. However, it reflects our will of relative votes, and the Finnish Association Registry want to see the absolute votes, and the phrasing is now presenting both relative and absolute votes, and I hope it will go through, but there is a possibility that it's rejected.
Yeah, duly noted. Duly noted. Right. All right. Alpha is commenting that should be okay. We have the absolute votes there, and then there's the will to keep the balance in there. So, okay, I think this is the best we can do at this point. Any final comments before we move on?
Chair, I'd like to suggest that we send this amendment as it is to our legal advisor, who may be able to comment on it within the next hour or so.
All right, excellent. All right, good point. So, okay, Teemu, or if someone...
Further, I suggest if there is a strong will, we provisionally accept it, and with the potential that if we get comments on it, we discuss it further.
All right, agreed. So at this point, we will provisionally consider this amendment closed, pending if we have any updates from our legal advisor. All right, thank you. This took a long time, but this was the difficult one. So let's move on to the other amendment. Amendment number 1 after 0 on language policy. This is also a question raised earlier. So Teemu, just briefly, what are we doing here?
Okay, thanks. First of all, thanks on my behalf also on the tricky one. I'm happy we got to a conclusion on that. The next one really should be easier. Section 1.4, amendment number 1 is about the operating language. We are planning to operate in English. There should be no doubt in anybody's mind. However, in our bylaws, we suggest that we don't make a fuss about what is the primary operating language, rather describe what documents we will at least have in English. This can of course be in our internal regulations. This was a suggestion from our legal advisor that we do it this way. I also have the list of documents if somebody's interested that needs to be in Finnish, and suggestion is that everything else but the absolute minimum is in English.
All right, thank you, Teemu. So, all right, I open the floor for discussion. If anyone has objections or comments on this, Rob, you have the floor.
So my question is specifically whether the bylaws are required to be in Finnish according to the registry.
Yes, yeah, they need to be in Finnish, yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right, okay, any other questions or comments?
Language correction, there is N person.
Okay. Good. All right.
Teemu, did you get that?
All right.
Teemu, did you get that?
I did not get that.
Maintain language version.
Up-to-date English language version of bylaws. Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. So indicative voting, please. So anyone in favor of this amendment, please raise your hand now, and remotely press yes. You can also press no already. Okay. Anyone against this amendment, please raise your hand now, or press no. All right. Okay. Remote coordinators, please post your results into chat. All right. Looks like Helsinki, Paris are accepting. Remote participants 29 yes, 0 no. Seems like this amendment has passed, has been accepted. All right, excellent. Moving on. Our amendment number 2.
Great. Section 2.2, modes of activity. There are small changes, 2 in 1. The first bit to improve the flow of the language, which was a little bit odd and actually commented on by the Patent and Registry Office. And the second one was that there slipped in a comment about privacy specifically in the modes of activity. We suggest taken out. So this is a combination of 2 amendments simply for clarity and readability.
All right. Okay. All right. Thank you. Then we'll open the floor for any questions or comments regarding this amendment. seems that it is quite clear for everybody. So, all right, we have, all right, the floor is open. Juuri Konga.
Yeah, Tammy, just a question why you're indicating private individuals as opposed to just individuals?
Actually, there was, that's a good question, thanks. There was a comment from Gianfranco Cecconi, I believe, that we should talk about natural persons as in line with the GDPR also throughout the document. It might be a thing to clean up. Probably the origin of that is simply from a translation.
Okay. All right. Also, comment from John that the association's purpose says we have several purposes. So probably there. Okay. All right. Again, you know, we can engage after this meeting with the details and the detailed wordings. But so. Yeah. Okay. Gianfranco's comment that you need to talk about natural persons, not private individuals.
Yeah, that was recognized already.
Yeah.
Cool.
So,
okay.
Here, one comment. Who is recording these wording changes and where? Because Teemu is supposed to be doing that, but Teemu cannot do that. So who is recording those and where? Can we do that? So there is the clean bylaws document. That's the most important place.
All right. Okay, excellent. Okay, after these questions, I believe the comments have been exhausted. So let us again quickly poll. I think Yurikan already actually did have their comments, so that the virtual hands tend to stay up forever. That's
tireless.
They don't tire ever. Yeah. All right. So again, a show of hands. Who is in favor of this amendment? Please raise your hand now, and press yes and no as you're online. Please do not raise your virtual hands unless you need to talk. All right. And who is against this amendment? Please raise your hand now. And again, if we can have the summaries from all remote coordinators or online coordinators. All right. Looks like amendment number 2 passes clearly. Moving on, amendment number 3 for section 3.1 admissions. All right, Teemu, briefly, please.
Thank you, Chair. 3 clarifications for clarity. Again, talking about natural persons and legal advisors advised to take out the word private, actually from there. The board approves members, not membership applications, and just clearly saying that membership may not be assigned or transferred. 3 clarity, simple amendment for clarity.
All right. Okay. Any questions regarding these changes? They seem to be pretty clear and necessary to me. All right. Let us have again indicative voting. Please clear your previous yes and no's in there. All right. So who is in favor of this amendment? Please raise your hand. And who? All right. Thank you. And who is against this amendment? Please raise your hand. And again, all right, comment? Private natural person, yeah, true.
Yes, taken off.
Okay, good. All right, again, all right, seems we're very unanimous on this, seems clear. Great, moving on to amendment number 4, deletion of honorary members. So,
thank you, Chair. There's a comment on, or there's a clause on that the association may have honorary members. There have been discussion for and against having these honorary members. There was an amendment made to delete this. there was a secondment, which was then retracted. In essence, it should be voted whether or not we can have honorary members. The reason why we might want to have them is to recognize people or to allow people not to, or members, organizational members, not having to pay a membership fee.
All right. So the original proposal was that we can have honorary members who are exempted the membership fee, and the amendment that has been seconded is to delete that membership class entirely. So I open the floor for discussions. Yogi.
Yeah, just to make sure that honorary member sounds weird and old-fashioned and useless. And I was in that opinion as well until I was very nicely explained by Vivi and Teemu, who met our legal advisor, who said that this is a normal way of allowing the organization to have members for who we, for a reason or the other, wish to give free membership. And practically, I think it might come handy at some point. For example, if there are some organizations that are really close to MyData and working hard for that, but for a reason or the other cannot join as members. This has been heard, for example, from some public sector organizations like ministries, that they cannot pay membership fees to anybody. And also it might be the case if you want to have a special role for organizations that run local hubs. So we may need at some point, or it would be handy at some point to be able to say that certain organization or individual is liberated from the membership fee. And that the advice from the legal advisor was that honorary member, however old-fashioned and boring and useless it sounds, it's actually the practical means of doing that. So I am opposing the amendment and saying that we should keep the original.
All right, we have, okay, then, all right, we had one request to come for the floor from remotely that was retracted. That's Frederick Linden. Please, the floor is yours.
Yes, I would also like to support actually keeping this in there. It does sound ancient or old-fashioned, but it is a good mechanism at points for an organization to be able to use. So I'd oppose it as well.
Thank you. All right, Sir Stephen Wilkinson, you have the floor.
I'll second that. And as I say, I like practical examples. If Sir Tim Berners-Lee would suddenly express an interest in the organization, it would be nice not to have to charge him 80 euros, wouldn't it, if it was...
You pay your fee, boy.
Somebody who was interested.
Yeah, yes, yeah. All right, thank you. Thank you, Stephen. That's a good point. Then Rob Guinness, please.
Yeah, I also support the non-deletion of this amendment, but I have a question. Do we need to specify in the bylaws the procedures for nominating and approving honorary members? Or how would that be decided?
Do we need to? Teemu, any thoughts? You're shaking your head, so I guess no.
It's we can check, but honorary members are accepted like members, so basically the board would approve them.
Yeah, it would be the board. Okay, we have a comment here.
Change the name of an elected members because they're elected by the board. It's honorary.
Okay, so right. Okay, so here in case you need here, that suggestion instead of calling them honorary members, call them elected members. Not sure if that works. It's something to look into. Yogi.
For Teemu, or the question about how to choose the honorary members, usually it's not written in the bylaws, at least in the Finnish associations, but it's decided by the board. That raises a fair question if board from year 2018 gives lots of honorary members to some organizations. Can the board from 2022 take those away? And I think that's something, again, that we don't need to put in the bylaws, but that's something that it's better to discuss through as an internal practice. And to answer your opinion there, I think that what the legal advisor said, that it's good to keep the name because that's kind of commonly understood what it means. And if it changes it to something that is nice for us, it might mean that it's hard to understand for some others.
I think in design, we use elected, and it has the same function as person part of the association, but doesn't need to pay.
Okay, where do you use it? Sorry.
Like, for example, International Statistical Society.
Okay.
It has elected members, or it has members to pay the membership. And elected are those who contribute significantly to the field, and they're elected and they don't need to pay the.
Okay, that's an alternative. All right, we have some questions about would this honorary membership be permanent or just year by year, or can it be cancelled and turned into something that normal membership? Any thoughts on that? Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right. So, okay, we have a few hands up online. So, Henrik first, please.
Yes, I think I would prefer the original wording where we just said that the board could temporarily or permanently grant free memberships to people for different reasons. And then, of course, they could be called honorary members, or they could be called anything else by the board according to what it is. Because now, if we have a membership list and we have a list of honorary members, and then we have Tim Berners-Lee, and next to him we have a person that for some reason can't, pay the membership fee, it would look incredible with, a lot of famous people next to a lot of people that people don't know at all. So I think it's much better to just to have the clause as it was, that you can actually, the board can grant temporary or permanent freedom for paying the fee, because it would be very confusing to have honorary members list which counts every type of organization that for some reason can't pay, together with some important people or VIPs.
So just to clarify, I think you are, Henrik, referring to original wording that is not here on the slides, but even more original, because we send this kind of wording for the Finnish authorities. Oh no, that was actually before the legal advisor meeting. We had this, like in certain ways, there are a way to liberate from the paying membership fee. It was explained in nice wordings. And that's exactly where the legal advisor said that there is this concept of honorary membership for that. And we are intending to use that only for that, not so much for the Tim Berners-Lee, but just for those that are contributing significantly to the organization but cannot pay. And we want to give the membership for those. So we are not intending to use this in honor anybody specifically. This is intended to be as a tool for giving the free membership.
I would propose adding the word "for a term" at the end of the first sentence. And then if the Berners-Lee case arises and decide that the term is until their day of death or something, but still to clarify, because normally honorary members in Finnish association law are
permanent. Yeah. Okay, so there was a proposal that the original text would stay, but the first sentence would be appended by for a term, so that these decisions are not made permanently, but for a certain time period. There's quite a bit of discussion around this on the chat, and it doesn't. Let's see. Rob and Marco, still your hands are up. So Rob, if you have a comment, please. The floor is yours.
Yes. First, the question: do the honorary members have the same voting rights as ordinary members?
Right. Do honorary members have voting rights?
Yes.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Then my proposal would be to somehow limit either the amounts or by procedure the creation of honorary members. Otherwise, in essence, this gives the board unlimited voting rights, because they can just create some number of honorary members that they wish, and those people would be assumed to be supporting the board.
That's clever.
Sorry to think so nefariously, but I think we have to think through these things carefully.
Right. Okay. All right. Good point there. Marco, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So just a quick question. Does the original wording allow for the board to revoke the honorary membership? Because then it wouldn't be indefinite.
I believe, the board can, fire any members.
Not without reason.
Not without reason, yeah. But
so the reasons in our bylaws, we need to state clearly the reasons for terminating membership. It can be misconduct, failure to pay fees, whatever.
Not taking off the honorary status.
Well, that would apply unless we otherwise specify it would be like normal members.
All right. This is okay. This is pretty interesting. So there's good points going both ways. So, here first.
Just shortly, as an organizational attitude, the more honored members we have within the organization, the happier we're likely to be. So I don't understand this undernote of honoring someone to be a bad thing.
All right. Thank you for that comment. Yogi.
Well, maybe to continue that way, after seeing these problems of taking the status away and possibly giving these pseudo members to support the board, I revoked my opinion and I start supporting the amendment of not having it here and to continue you. That would mean that everybody is honored equally.
All right. Okay, there's some discussion also that honorary members often do not have voting rights, but let's see.
Specified either way.
Right. There's also one comment was that perhaps instead of this, the general meeting when deciding on membership fees just includes one membership class fee class that's $0.
Yeah, that's doable. Right. And we can come back to this if it's
all right. So okay, it seems perhaps this honorary membership is not crucial at this point. Yep. All right. Okay. The clock is ticking, so let's have. All right, this is going to be interesting. Let's have an initiative vote on this. So now, yes means that you will support the amendment as written here, which means deleting this section from the bylaws, and voting no means that you want to keep the original section about honorary members. So let's have again, online voters, yes or no, and everybody present in various locations. If you now think carefully, if you support the deletion of section 3.2 about honorary members, please raise your hand now.
What if you're indifferent?
Then you don't raise your hand. All right, and then anyone who is votes no, and I'm getting confused. All right, so anyone now in favor of who is against the amendment and in favor of keeping honorary members in our rules, raise your hand now. All right.
About
Right. Okay. All right. Some people are getting confused, and I don't blame them. Okay. All right. Okay. So looking at the screen, voting yes means that you support what's written on the right side with the blue text, which means delete, and voting no means that you support the original one. So let's try it. So anyone individual there, adjust your vote if you made a mistake previously. So new try. let's maybe also do the show of hands also. So anyone in favor of amendment deleting this section, please raise your hand now. Okay. And then anyone against the amendment, which means keeping this section, please raise your hand now. So
we still have a few minutes.
Right.
I think we were quite fast for the online piece.
All right. So online coordinators, can we have? All right. And I think Helsinki was mainly. Okay. Comment. Crowthink and George Revel. When I'm talking to all remote hubs where there are several people convened. So everybody is raising their hands simultaneously. Yeah, and online users, yes and no. So actually, all right. So Paris is in favor of this amendment, and Helsinki was what? Vivi? Against. Helsinki was against. All right. This is going to be fun. All right. 6 in favor, 1 against. So, okay. So, all right. So now we have the option of either continuing the discussion to try to get to a consensus or submit this later to a vote. Amsterdam was also in favor of the amendment.
Making sure that they really understood what they're about.
Yeah, it's a possibility, but I mean, it was explained 3 times.
Right. No, from Greece. All right. So it seems Paris and Amsterdam are in favor of deleting honorary members, whereas Athens and Helsinki want to keep honorary members. So, all right. So, okay. So if someone has suggestions how we can find a consensus, now is a good time to present that. Otherwise, we will schedule this for a vote. And I think we have a comment from Taiwan. TH, the floor is yours. Yeah, you need to unmute your microphone, please. Okay. All right. No comment. All right. So do we have all right, comment here. Yes.
Sami here again. I'm voting for keeping the original, but I would like to rephrase it to add as it was suggested during the discussion, to add addition to select honorary members for a term, and I would rephrase so that honorary members would not have the same rights as the other natural persons and the organizations. Rather, they would have not right to vote. And if we think about, for example, some ministries joining the work and being involved in the work, they might not even need, or they don't have a need to
vote.
Vote. So they will still be able to participate the work of an association and contribute, but they would not have the right to vote.
Okay, so there's some suggestion. So if it gets seconded, we can consider that.
Second.
It has been seconded. Then several other comments here. Oh dear. Did Yogi have a comment or
no,
just seconded?
Second.
Okay, comments. Yes.
Yeah, comment. Seconded, and then addition of the €0 fee for hearing votes. So you can have the option for €0 payment for individuals.
Right. I guess
even though it's not maybe.
All right.
Maria Pihtuvara here.
those of you who were in Lyon might remember there a discussion that for ministry people, for example, this might be impossible to join. To become a member, it is not because of the chief, but because of the status as a civil servant in the ministry and so on. And logically, I think that they cannot even vote for something because it is really a honorary status if we want that kind of people who, because of their employer or employment status organization or status of the organization, they cannot become a member and this kind of honorary position without voting, etc. would be the only possibility.
All right, so there has been suggestions that honorary members would not have voting rights. I think that was already seconded. And some comments on the chat basically about, okay, why do we need to have this? Should we not just have a membership, fee of $0 or whatever currency? But the point here was that some public sector, like ministries, cannot join as members, but they can be sort of nominated to be honorary members, and they will just sort of be, hang around, but not vote and not really, be. Or an individual person from a ministry can be, okay, all right, that's it. All right, okay, so let's see, can we draft, I'm not displaying live, so can we draft a new amendment that everybody can agree? Yeah, this is good, all right. All right, so now, the honorary members could be selected for a term, they do not have voting rights, they do not have the responsibility of paying membership fees. Because that's just said, for example, a person from a ministry cannot join as a member, but they can be invited,
More thing you're saying when I vote.
Well, I don't know what you voted, so.
Yeah, I suggest that if this is pleasing more than the previous, we would go on. This can be always changed. This is not critical for the organization. Thank you.
Right.
Just one comment. I think that this may get the Finnish authorities to not accept the regulations or the bylaws, because now you're into having some members that don't pay membership fees. No, that don't have voting rights. I think it's okay.
But for not having voting rights might be problematic. I don't know, Vladimir.
My comment for my word, this public servant can abstain from vote if even they have the right of if their status demands from them to abstain. So we shouldn't take away this voting right from one other member.
Okay, all right. So, all right. So, are we closer to a consensus here? So you can see the new wording here. Okay, Amsterdam, you have the floor.
Sorry, it took a while to unmute.
Okay, all right.
Our comment here is that we see many different interpretations of the word honorary member, and that complicates the discussion. What we hear now is to get the foundation, the basics of the association in place. Maybe honorary members in one way or the other are a good idea, but when I listen to the discussion, I see that we don't understand one another in what is meant with an honorary member. So then trying to change the semantics or change the wording of the honorary membership now can only lead to new complications. So despite the fact that I like the concept of an honorary member, I see a lot of discussion on the semantics. So that would mean that we should not bring it in now and add it in a later stage. I think there are many opportunities or possibilities to add that also outside of the bylaws in one way or the other, or maybe to adapt the bylaws.
All right. Thank you for that comment. All right. Yeah.
Hello, Kaisa from Helsinki. I'm just asking Yogi, actually, did you intentionally drop also the mention of that the honorary members would be in either of the two membership classes. And what would be the intention?
Yes, I dropped it because then this would become third class of members that do not have voting rights. So otherwise, I dropped it intentionally. All right. Okay. So we have a new wording here that may or may not please everyone. So I suggest we do one quick show of hands on this. If we get clear majority in favor of this amendment, we'll accept it, and if not, then we will just note that then my suggestion is that One moment. Teemu just found the earlier text that would identify what we meant by.
Okay.
Where are you putting it? Okay.
I'm putting it onto the slide.
Why it doesn't show there?
Oh, I'm creating the wrong slide.
So this is what Henrik referred to. Previously we wrote, the association may have, no, this is not the one. No. So go on for the show of hands.
All right, okay, so let's see. So my suggestion is that we have a show of hands. If there's a clear approval for this amendment, then it gets accepted. If not, then I would decide actually that we delete this section and make a note in the minutes that this is something that the next general meeting should take up and reconsider. Sure.
Is it possible to add there that individuals that have been honored with the membership can have voting rights? And if you have organizational partners, they might not have them because they don't necessarily need them. No?
Well, I say that it's possible, but we cannot fix it today, and that would again break the 50-50 thing, and that would lead to long discussions that we cannot finalize today.
I'm trying to mitigate a problem.
Yeah, we can take it over in Barcelona for the next month. We can discuss, have a drinks of beers and in all 8 cities and discuss it through, but it's not going to be fixed today. So either we go with this or not, and then in Barcelona, new life.
All right. Okay. All right. There's vocal people saying that they don't agree, but let's have a show of hands. So everybody who is okay with this newly worded amendment number 4, please raise your hand or press yes now. And then anyone who is against this amendment, press no or raise your hand now. And then can I have summaries? Already Paris voted. All right. So Paris 5 against. What's Helsinki status?
More for that amendment.
Sorry?
More people for that.
All right. Okay. Yes. All right. We are disagreeing. So,
Chair,
yes.
If it looks like we are disagreeing, I might suggest a proposition or something. If the issue is the fact that we want people to have zero payment, there is an older version of the bylaws which clearly says, not in this section, but another section, that a person may be exempted from membership fees.
But it's
if that is the issue.
Yeah.
Don't our bylaws currently say that the general meeting decides on various membership fees, and that decision can be also zero?
Yes, of course.
No.
Of course.
No? Yogi?
So currently, the board decides membership fee classes. And the class can be, for example, non-profit organizations. And we want to set up a membership fee for non-profit organizations, but then there would be one non-profit organization, being, for example, the Ministry of Transportation and Communication. And that's the difference, that we are exempting some individual members from the fee, not like creating yet another class for just one kind of type of organization that happens to be located in Etelä-Esplanadi 4.
All right. Internal joke there. okay. All right. Okay. I need to actually close this and move on. So.
I do have an argument which is strong. If we go, for example, to the sub-Saharan world, that we want to permit members from there, they don't necessarily have the means to pay for that kind of money that we're asking them from.
True.
We can't exempt them from voting rights.
Well, Section 3.3 covers that example.
Perfect.
All right. Okay. I'm closing this point, and actually.
What is the decision?
The decision is according. Yeah. The original text. I'm quite sure we wouldn't get agreement on that. So the only agreement we currently seem to have is to delete section 3.2 and make a note in the minutes that this needs to be reopened in the Barcelona general meeting and come up with a solution for that. So that is my suggestion. Now, if someone disagrees with that, now is the time to say something. If not, we move on.
However, if we still vote that it is taken away and we will get this ready to start, because I think that people might be ready to change their minds and say that let's get rid of the original version and forget this, just to get this ready.
That's the suggestion, that this section is deleted.
Just to check if people are ready to.
Let me say what I'm writing as a secretary here. This goes to approved amendments, the original ones that is actually here. So the original amendment was to delete the section, and now me as a secretary writes here, approved amendments, section 3.2 membership classes. We approved the amendment of deleting the section, and this needs to be reopened in the Barcelona meeting on November 15th, right?
Second that.
All right. All right. And as to the question from Japan that are we on schedule? I'm sorry, Japan, I know it's getting late. We are about, actually no, we are about 20 minutes, 30 minutes late. Let's see. All right, move on. Next amendment. Now we rapid fire these. So Teemu, amendment number 5 about admission fee and membership fee. What's the change here?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair. Section 3.3, admission fee and membership fee, it's a clarification in language. I will take note that, or would like to note that, yes, the general meeting, the autumn meeting may choose to have
I think Helsinki's audio has gone out. I'm not sure.
Yes, I think so too.
Yeah, think so.
Vivi, can you hear me? The Helsinki sound is out.
Yeah, that's right.
Everybody else is okay, but Helsinki is quiet.
I think they are trying to fix it now.
Oh, but you were a teller, right? You're aware that
I wasn't one. He had a a teller. You know that he didn't ever.
The examiner of the minutes.
No, that wasn't. Yeah, he didn't ever.
Oh, you were never selected. Okay.
Yeah, no. Yeah. Okay. Don't worry.
Right. But this was smart, precise guy.
Okay, break ends.
Break ends. Thank you. Okay. Do we have audio? Yep.
Please come everybody back on places.
Okay.
I guess you can hear my shouting. We are getting back to business.
All right.
Okay.
Joo, me ei varmaan päätetä mitään.
Joo. Okay, excellent. All right. So amendment number 5, admission fee.
Hey, please everybody come back here.
Okay. All right. Cut down on the background noise. Okay. So, okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, now it's working.
You can hear me. Okay. So we are at section 3.3, admission fee and membership fee, amendment number 5. Trust me, it's going to get easier.
Downhill from here. Yep.
So here we have two amendments into one. One, we improve the flow of the text. And secondly, we take off the self-declaration from the bylaws. We might still practice that self-declaration. We might decide to change it down the line. It doesn't need to be in the bylaws.
Okay, that's the amendment. So, okay, so I will open the floor for questions